hello, and welcome to In the Growth Space. My name is David McGlennon, and I'm your host. And this is the final episode for Season 3, episode number 38 here in this particular season. And overall, this is our 167th episode. This is episode 167. So next season, we're going to hit our 200th episode. That's kind of mind-blowing for me. But one of the things that I was thinking about in this particular episode, just to kind of recap the entire season, I was thinking about the quote that says that experience isn't the best teacher, but evaluated experience is. So I just wanted to reflect on this past season, and I'm going to do that here in just a moment, share some thoughts with you on some of the high point moments that I believe have been just so impactful for this particular season. But first, I just want to say thanks for joining me here on In the Growth Space. If this is your first time listening in, thank you. I would encourage you to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit subscribe and the little bell to be notified when new episodes are up. Because this is the last episode in this particular season, we're going to take the summer off. So the summer of 2024, as I'm recording this, we're going to take that whole summer off, and we will be back on Labor Day weekend here in the United States, Labor Day. So the first weekend in September, we'll be back with a new season. And we've already got some great episodes lined up. I know that we're getting ready to record some great conversations with some leaders and some people that I know you're not going to want to miss. So make sure you hit subscribe and notifications on YouTube. So one of the things that this podcast is all about is obviously is growth, and it's getting outside of your comfort zone. And when we get outside of our comfort zone, we do things that we've never done before, and we repeat that over and over and over and over again. And then that becomes our new comfort zone. And honestly, this particular season, we've done that. I've done that a lot this season, trying new things, experimenting new things, new formats. And honestly, I love getting to try those new things and experimenting. And I love getting to meet new people and hearing from them, hearing their growth journey, hearing about interesting leaders and how they have tackled interesting challenges, interesting problems, how they've grown as leaders and how they've grown as people. And so what I wanted to do today is just kind of recap some of the high points of this particular season and some of the things that, quite frankly, got me outside of my comfort zone as well. So the first thing that I thought about was that on this episode or on this season, I had two Australians in different episodes. So I think it was episode 33, Gary Ridge, who is the retired CEO of the WD-40 company. I had him on, and it was a great conversation. What an amazing and engaging person he is. And in our very first episode in this particular season, I had Oscar Trimboli, and he was just phenomenal, talking about how to listen. And in that particular episode, I invited you as our listeners to come to a live interactive workshop that he did to help us learn to listen and learn to listen better based on his book called How to Listen. So that was pretty interesting. I had to juggle time zones, especially for Oscar, because he truly was in Australia. But then Gary, even though he's Australian, he lives in San Diego. And that was still a little bit of a juggle, but just an amazing couple of conversations there. The other thing that we did is we did some live in-studio conversations, and I had a great conversation with Tim Tannert in studio. I also had a live audience with one of my guests, Mark Miller, who he is a New York Times best-selling author, and he is also employee number 16 at Chick-fil-A. He was on 2 episodes this particular season because he is such a prolific author that we wanted to capture both of the books that he had written. The first book was called Culture Rules. The second book was called Uncommon Greatness. And both of those were amazing. We had him on for his Uncommon Greatness book with a live studio audience. I call it a live studio audience because it was all on Zoom, but it was live, and we were able to allow the audience to ask questions, which was really fun. And that was definitely something new and definitely got me out of my comfort zone as well. But as far as live in-studio experiences goes, we also had episode, I think it was 3, that Andy Hall interviewed me on my sabbatical, about my sabbatical. And that was really a great episode. I really enjoyed being with Andy, and actually you're going to see more of Andy coming in the next season. We're going to do a regular spot together, a regular episode together on a fairly regular basis. I also had a great in-studio experience. I get again with Tim Tannard. I talked to you about that. Then we also had Trent Spivey, who talked about living memory and creating an experience with people who want to secure a legacy and share their legacy, share their story, both from a company perspective as well as a personal perspective, using virtual reality and augmented reality. Such an amazing, that was an amazing experience, an amazing story from Trent. You know, and we had a wide range of topics that we explored on the show this year. Everything from culture to my sabbatical lessons, achieving greatness, what it takes to achieve greatness, leadership lessons, succession planning, creating our next act or our next season of life plans. And we had several episodes with that as the topic. And I think that's going to probably be another topic that we'll explore more going into next season, because so many of us are either leaving one season of life, one season of our career, and moving into the next, whether we're part of the Gen Z generation or we're part of the baby boomer generation or anywhere in between. It's such an important topic to be able to recognize when those seasons begin to change and to actually move with them rather than fight against them. So it's a great topic that we had on. We also had a topic around, or an episode around, the topic of decision making with Cheryl Einhorn. That was a really fascinating conversation as well. We also talked about accountable leadership through a proper debrief with Cujo Teschner. Cujo is a retired Air Force Top Gun instructor and a fighter pilot, and what an amazing episode that was. I really, really loved that particular episode. As a matter of fact, we were able to secure enough books of his, the Debrief to Win book, so that we could provide those to all of our Inner Circle group members. And so if you're listening and you're an Inner Circle group member, be watching for that either through your employer or in the mail through our organization. But I loved all of the topics that we explored on the shows this year. And I'm really excited about next season shows. And I would love for you to just feed back to our team. What was the most impactful episode that you had or that you listened to? Maybe what helped you the most in your own growth journey? Maybe what was something that really just stood out to you? So there was a topic that stood out or a guest that stood out. I would really, really love to know. The other thing that I would love to know is that if you have somebody that I should get to know, go back to the John Maxwell quote, "Who do you know that I should know?" And I would love to explore having them on the podcast. So as I said, we already do have a number of amazing guests lined up for next season. but we're looking for more, and we would love to be able to explore anyone who has an interesting growth journey. Maybe they've overcome some unique challenge. Maybe they have expanded their growth zone and their comfort zone in some way. One episode that I know we will have next season, because we've already been compiling it, and that is a season of Q&A. So some other questions that have come in from our listeners. And if you'd like to still submit a question for the Q&A episode, please feel free to do that. You can call in on our recorded line, and that number is 412-475-9288. And in case you missed it, that's okay. We'll have it in the show notes, but feel free to call in and offer us your question, because we would love to use your voice as a part of our next season and one of the episodes we're going to do for next season. Another great guest that we have lined up is a gentleman by the name of John Berghoff. And if you don't know that name, you're going to love that episode, because he is not only the founder of Exchange, he is also a former executive at Vitamix, at the Vitamix Corporation. So if you have a Vitamix blender, he was responsible for sales and business development for that company for quite a while. An amazing story, and actually he offers a process of unlocking the potential within organizations, within groups, that has helped me with all of our Inner Circle group members. And also I used the methodology in our summit last year. So can't wait to share John's story and some more insights from John as we get into next season. The other one that we have lined up, and it's just going to be an amazing conversation, Randy Gravitt. Randy is Mark Miller's business partner, and so he also has written a book that I know you're going to love, so make sure you tune in for that. I already mentioned the fact that we're going to have a regular episode with Andy and I discussing the things that we're working on, the growth zone that we're entering. And we would absolutely love to also hear from you. If you have ideas for topics, ideas for episodes, and again, ideas for guests, we would love to hear from you. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being a part of this podcast journey that I'm on. And I really am grateful for you listening in. I hope that you have a fantastic summer. I hope that through the summer, you're able to continue to move outside of your comfort zone, continue to grow, and sometimes even just rest. Sometimes that is the best way to continue our growth, and that is by resting. I know that's something that I'm going to be doing. I am taking a sabbatical from July 1st through the 31st, taking that off again this year, and I'm super blessed, super grateful, and I'm really ready to lean into that rest and that time away to be refreshed so that I can continue on my growth journey as long as God has me here on the planet. So thank you so much for listening in. And until next time, be well and keep growing.